guys, Dave Wilson here again, and today I'm going to show you how to make a beautiful Persian 6-in-1 chainmail bracelet. Really gorgeous bracelet this, you'll like this. There are a few different methods that you might see around. There's one where you overlap the links and then you put one through the middle. I've tried that, I found it quite fiddly. So the method I'm going to show you today is what we call the flip method, where you flip a ring round. And I think this is the easiest, fastest method that I've come across. But word of note, the chains that I make have an aspect ratio of 5, and these are quite compact and quite dense. So if this is your first time, you might want to go more towards an aspect ratio of 5.5, maybe even a little bit higher, 5.6, 5.7. That'll be a little bit easier for your first time. Once you've got used to it, you can tighten it up, make smaller ones. So start with 5.5. So that said, grab your jump rings, follow me, let's make a Persian.
So this is the Persian 6-in-1. It's a very beautiful weave, as you can see, but don't confuse this with a box chain or a snake chain. This is slightly different. You can see that there are two interlocked chains, one kind of pointing to the left or one pointing to the right. It's completely symmetrical, so it doesn't matter which end you start at or which colour you start with, the final chain will be exactly the same. Here I've used contrasting colours, so hopefully this will help make it clearer to understand how I make it. So here we have 1mm wire on a 5mm mandrel. This gives me an aspect ratio of 5, and the final bracelet will be 7mm diameter. So for my American friends over there, this is 18 gauge wire on a 3/16 of an inch mandrel. For an 8-inch bracelet you're going to need around 190 rings, so that's about an ounce of silver in my case. Starting off is always tricky, but we're going to start with a 2 + 2 + 2 chain like this. So to start we're going to use 2 silver and 4 gold. Close all the gold ones and thread them onto an open silver one, like that. Nice and simple, and close it. Then add another silver one again through all of the gold ones and close. And if you move them around you'll get this. I've just tied some cotton on so I can show you what it looks like without my fingers getting in the way. Great. Now attach something to one end. I like to use these lanyard clips, hang it around my neck, but a piece of tape, ribbon, string, piece of wire, anything, and this will be one end. We're going to start the chain in the same way that you start a Byzantine bracelet. These end two links are going to flip back, one up and one down, and if I just put a needle through here, hopefully you can see what we're talking about. So next we're going to put a silver ring through exactly where that needle is, going in between the silver ones and through the gold ones. There we go. And just check that's what it should look like. Add another silver alongside the last, exactly the same. And this is what we've got. So it's very similar to the start of a Byzantine. You've got 2 going in one direction and 2 going in the opposite direction. So there you go, we're off. To make the Persian requires just 2 moves. Number 1 is to add the 2 outer gold rings. One at the top, one at the bottom, alongside the previous 2. So get an open gold ring, put it through the end 2 links there, and we're going to flip it back and thread it through the top 2 silver ones so it lies alongside the previous gold one. Don't open your rings too much or they won't go through. Just open them a little. When you look at the gold one at the top, you can see that it should have the 4 silver ones going through it. Turn your chain round and add the matching gold one at the opposite side. Again, put it through the end 2 links, flip it back and pass it under the top 2 silver wires. Give it a check and this is what you should have. You can see now the second set of gold ones there. That's the tricky move, but you will soon get used to it and get the hang of it, I assure you. Just to try and help you out with this is a different, slightly larger chain, so it might be a bit easier to see. So I'm going to show you on this one just to make sure you absolutely get that flip move. So here we are, here's the end link. I've painted it red with a marker. So flip it and it goes through those two links there. Hopefully you can see where that's going. Exactly the same as all the others at the top. When it's closed up you can see where it is there. So it's the last one in that top link there. You see that? So hopefully that is a little bit easier for you to see. Anyway, back to the gold one. The second move is really easy. Just make sure that the end links are pointing to the left. And you can see how the second set slot into the first. Well, we're now going to add a third set. So in between those end ones, really simple, in between the silver ones and through the gold ones. Like that. And add another one, and that's easy. There you go. And you see you've got the third silver ones now. And that's it. Turn it 90 degrees and then add the gold ones again, top and bottom, using the flip move again, and that's it. 2 silver added to the end, 2 gold flip back, 2 silver added to the end, 2 gold flip back, and that's it. Keep repeating those 2 moves over and over until you get to about 7 inches. And join me in a second and I'll show you how to finish it. So here we are, I'm at my final length now. Remember, you want it about an inch shorter than the actual final length to allow for the clasp. So lay it out flat and make sure that it's not twisted. And what you'll notice is that the gold links there are flat, but the silver links are at 90 degrees, because obviously one is at 90 degrees to the other. So this is really simple, because all you have to do is, if you put a lobster clasp on those there, let's say I attach that there, then because that's 90 degrees that slots through the lobster clasp. So that's really simple to do. Now if your lobster clasp is big enough, this is a 17mm, you might find that you can get both of your end links through, which is kind of nice because it keeps everything looking the same. But if not, just take one of the end links off and just put one through. So there you go, you can see that there, that's just got one. So it's just one of the gold ones in the centre there. And the great thing with that is that that is at 90 degrees to the silver one. So if I bring the silver ones round, you can see that'll go straight through the silver ones, and so that's perfect. Alternatively, if you want to keep it all handmade, then here's how. Okay, so to make a hook you need a piece of wire. Use the same colour and thickness as what your jump rings are made out of. So this is 1mm gold wire here. Now this is about 4 inches long. The actual hook is going to be about quarter, because we're going to halve it and then halve it again. So anywhere between 3 inches and 4 inches will make you a hook that's a little bit under an inch. So piece of wire, 4 inches. Clean the ends up, make sure the ends are nice and clean. You want to grab it around the middle with a pair of round nose or half round or round flat pliers. Just grab it in the middle and bend it round. Yeah, doesn't need to be too precise. Okay, so we've got this kind of hairpin type shape. I'm now going to get a pair of parallel pliers. So there we go, parallel ply, just squeeze it. So we need to just trim the ends there. So make sure that ends are nice and straight. Now this end that we've cut, we're going to curl it round. So we're going to grab it with the pliers and curl it round to make a small loop. Okay, so make sure it's nice and even on both sides. Now I will tell you that when I make these out of silver, I actually run solder all the way along, and I solder them all the way along, and I solder them there. But it's a little bit overkill, you don't need to. Okay, so parallel pliers, very simply, I'm just going to just give it just a little kick up. Okay. So there you go, it's a little kink there. It's not much, I don't know, 20-30 degrees, whatever. There's just a little kink at the end, just about 4 or 5mm.
the little kink at the top and the loop at the top, and then I'm going to push it round. If you want to adjust it, just keep hold of it tight there, and you can open that up there and then push that side around, or you can move it the other way. So there we go, we've got the nice little hook. There we go, just a little little silver jump ring there, and it just flips it 90 degrees. That's all it does. Okay, so now that that's flat with the gold, that means that it will connect up absolutely perfectly on the end there. Now, as an alternative to adding the jump ring there, another little thing you might want to do is open up that ring there on your hook. So just prise it open a little bit with your round nose pliers, and what we're going to do is we're going to use the hook to replace these end two gold links there. So here you go, I've taken the two links off the end, which those two links were actually the starting point. They were the ones that were going through the lanyard. So I'm going to put my hook through the end there, in between those two gold ones, and then through the silver ones. So there you go, that's the hook in position. So I've taken the end two links off and replaced it with the hook, and I think that that is by far the best method, because the hook is made out of two thicknesses of wire. It kind of follows that pattern there, those double links, and side on, if you make that loop approximately the same size as your gold rings, then it kind of follows along nicely, and so I think that is by far the best way, and of course it keeps it all handmade as well. So whichever way, it's entirely up to you. So there you go guys, I hope I've inspired you to give it a go. It's really quite easy once you get used to it. Try changing the colours, textures, twisted wire, square wire, and you can come up with some really interesting possibilities. So there you go, enjoy. I've been Dave Wilson, thanks for watching, and I'll see you real soon on the next video. Bye for now.